So I'm so excited. We're finally out here with the Rockaway team talking about the redesign of the landscaping around the building. Our new sign is installed along Beach Boulevard. It looks fantastic, but it's making the rest of the area around the museum look not so great. So we're really excited. We're talking about some Florida-friendly plants, some low-maintenance plants, and some just landscape redesign, some irrigation that we're going to be able to install here in the next couple of months to just really make the museum look fantastic from the outside, and really encourage and entice people to come in and visit to learn about the history of our area.
So we're excited to work with you from Rockaway, and I see some beautiful features of the building. The architecture is wonderful. It's this old Florida architecture that we're going to work with when it comes to plantings. We've got the cabbage palms, or also known as sable palms, that add to that Florida architecture, native here. That's our state tree. And we're going to bring in some more color. We're going to work with what we have. We're going to open up some of this landscape to be able to see the sculpture better, which is just outstanding. There's some beautiful trees here that need some specialized pruning. So we're excited. Thank you.
And this was all possible thanks to a matching grant from Rockaway, and we opened it up to our donors and supporters, and they matched it and then some. So we have extra funds to really make sure we do this right. And another thing that we had talked about doing is making sure there's some identification tags saying that the sable palm is the state tree of Florida, that, you know, educating our community is one of the things that we're trying to do. And we do have people come in and ask, you know, what plant is this or what tree is that? So we want to be able to give people the opportunity to learn outside as they're even walking into the museum. So I think that'll be a great component of what we're looking to do. So with the sign, I do think I have someone who's going to take this tree out for us. So we did not realize that this was, you know, it wasn't blocking the sign when the sign was parallel to the road. So we'll work on getting that tree out and getting all of the palms trimmed. Okay. So here, my main concern is just erosion of the sand into the sidewalks. You can see that's an issue.
Absolutely address that.
And then and we do want to make sure we can get to the sign, obviously, on both sides to change it out.
Do we need to work on this as well?
Yeah, I would think so.
I think we could make this a little cleaner. Yeah. And we've got some erosion happening here, so
clean it up, and then maybe even something, whether it's ground cover or whatever, in front of it.
Well, I think we can start by cleaning up the grading, get all this pulled back, get the dirt. If we need to remove some, we can, but we definitely want to get it below the sidewalk by at least 1.5 inches. And then we can start replanting after that.
Now, I don't know if we had thought about this or if you guys had kind of looked at this area, but these are those hedge things that I would love to get rid of.
Good.
If you think. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're just not visually, you know, and I don't think they really go with a Florida-friendly look either.
And they're so maintenance intensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the palms are beautiful. So.
And we'll clean all of these up too. We're working on getting the fence fixed here. Okay. Is there anything that you would put along this fence line though, just to clean up the curb appeal a little?
Absolutely. Okay. We could go with either a coral honeysuckle, or we could go, or a passion vine. Okay. Or we could go with a confederate jasmine.
Are they, I mean, I know all of those will grow pretty fast, but are they low maintenance?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say whatever the lowest maintenance, but all of those I think would be beautiful.
Yeah. We could, doesn't have to be just one, but the confederate jasmine is the most aggressive and the fastest growing, but you get with the coral honeysuckle and the passion flower, you get the butterfly benefit. Ooh. You know, with those two. So let's see what's behind here.
So this is just some required retention. So nothing really happens in here. You know, again, I don't. If it's covered and you can't really see back here, then I don't really care about those. Yeah. But
what would your? I mean, we're not. This isn't butterfly habitat, but because I mean it's surrounded by development. But as your group, would you prefer having a native vine, or would you prefer just having a nice solid green with a white flower?
Probably in this case, because this is more kind of the industrial back end of the museum, probably more of a cover, like the solid green.
Let's do the confederate jasmine.
Okay.
We can take these out too.
Yeah.
They're not
doing anything for anybody.
They're just a maintenance issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what
we can replace that with something that's less maintenance intensive and just grows on its own.
I don't really even need anything back there. If this is kind of covered with jasmine, then
okay.
I mean, what do you think?
It could be solid jasmine all the way around. It grows as a ground cover as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
It's beautiful as a ground cover.
Okay,
yeah.
let's do that.
In fact, it doesn't have to cover this fence, and sometimes the weight when it gets over, it can bring it down, but it's a pretty strong fence. If we just let it grow up and then we keep it kind of pruned, and then it creates a ground cover all the way around here, it'll be beautiful.
And it gets massive amounts of sun right here, so.
Okay. Here, we probably tie this in with what we're doing on that side.
Okay, so we want to pull those up.
Yep.
Do whatever we're going to do around the building. And then again here, you know, I would defer
Let's start from scratch all the way from there to here.
Okay.
And we can, I love the blue, and it looks really good with the pink muly grass, so we'll bring some of the plumbago back.
Perfect.
Okay. And the coontie, we can bring some coontie in here.
Yeah, these seem to be doing okay.
We may be able to split some of these up.
Okay.
There's a lot of pups in here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then...
So we'll carry this design around since this is the front entrance.
Perfect. And then this is the area, you know, again, you still have a couple of these back here.
Yep.
But this is the area that was redone relatively recently.
Okay.
And then obviously we have our public
We can
art.
lift the cabbage palm a little bit to open up this view of the tortoise. Turtle, I'm sorry.
Turtle, it's okay.
Sea turtle. Sea turtle, not sea tortoise. And then the two loquats. Maybe lift this up just a little bit. I don't have a lot of room to lift it up.
And one thing that I would like to do once it's all installed and said and done, putting some of those little signs, the little signs indicating what things are, and we can do that. We'll just need your help identifying.
For plant ID? Because
people ask us all the time. So it would be really nice to be able to, you know, show people this was done with thought towards Florida friendly.
Okay.
Because people do really ask. And then this was really put in here just to keep people from climbing on the sculpture. And but it also kind of gives you like a natural looking kind of water effect, which I love. Okay. So this seems to be getting kind of congested here. And then you've got
these are starting to grow up to be taller palms, so we can take out some of the lower fronds. Okay. And that will give them a more upright look. Okay. And be very uplifting when you look at it. And then that will clear out, that will give these coontie more room. Okay. Okay. And then we can spread these out as well. We've got a lot of plants from that original, however many that was.
Yeah, I love that look too. And then you see the ugly hedge things. Yep. Now we had, I don't know where it went. There was a plant here, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was kind of it almost had kind of a waterfall look to it. It was with beautiful yellow flowers. Does that sound familiar? I could probably look back and find it, but in one of the storms, it knocked over and the roots kind of came up, but then they put it back, and I thought it had, but at some point it disappeared. So I don't know why we took that out. Okay. But I think this is a great spot for something, and whatever that might be, whether it's a citrus, is that an option here? Is there a, you know, it's just got some great space and it's in such a prominent.
Why do you ask about citrus?
I don't know. I was just thinking, because it does get good sun.
Okay.
But I don't know. Again, I'll defer to you, but I thought that the yellow flowering tree was really pretty, and it just never really got a chance to.
So it was a tree, not a shrub.
It was, I don't know if it was a tree, but it seemed to have kind of one trunk, but I mean only like that big. So I don't know the difference.
Would someone know?
Someone will know. Actually, let me text.
And just soften that view, but we don't need a hedge here.
Yeah, it's okay. And it goes all the way around. And you can see it kind of makes close to the building, which I don't love. So whatever we do here, we'd have to modify the irrigation. So that's the other thing that we're gonna need to do, consider in the proposal in terms of the cost. So it goes all the way back around here, and I just hate it.
Okay.
I scratch my car on it all the time. So.
All right, we can take care of that.
Okay.
Okay. Now you've got a nice garden back here.
So this is another retention pond. Again, when we have the tree folks coming, I'm gonna have them clear this out because this shouldn't.
Well, let's see what you've got in here. It's kind of interesting.
I know.
Looks like volunteers. I wonder what this
No,
is.
nothing was intentionally planted here.
This looks like it's got buds on it. It's not dead. And you've got some wax myrtle, and it looks like some saltbush.
Okay.
They're actually natives.
Okay.
And it's always nice for water quality to have vegetation because they bring up
So should we leave
the excess nutrient. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now it can
makes
be
it
cleaned
easy.
up.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it's good to have the cabbage palms next to that concrete structure.
Okay.
Their root balls aren't so. The root balls only get this big, but we could take those out.
Okay.
No, I think it would be lovely too to add some native vegetation to the front one.
I mean, if it's a good thing.
We don't have to go all out with it, but just a few, like a wax myrtle and just a couple things.
Okay.
And it would give a nice softening to that.
Okay.
So water quality always benefits from vegetation
Kind of
that
the natural.
it absorbs the pollutants and processes them and excess nutrients
Okay.
into the trees. They're very beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why you're the pro.
All right. This is pretty simple.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Okay.
Okay, so from here you guys will put together a landscape proposal, irrigation proposal, all that, so we can kind of check the price, make sure we're within range. And then once we give it a go, how long do you think I mean, it doesn't make sense to do planting right now. Or what
it depends on what we're planting. We can go ahead with demo and get things cleaned up, and
we'll have our pressure washer guy come out and clean up the building.
And palms lifted up, and they're going to start to go up above and join up with the canopy of the cabbage palm. We can clean these up some, so we really open this up, not too much, but a little bit more.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yay.
I'm going to go around and we're done, but I can go around and take photos.